Good afternoon, Northern Utah. Stephen Farrell here. Today, I want to talk about listening to others. So listen up, supervisors, line leads, plant managers, shift managers, and even just really everyone that has a job goes to work. This is also applicable for home. I'm going to talk about a pretty touchy subject, and that's how to actively listen. Especially for you supervisors out there, this is just a key component of being a good leader, a good manager as well, and a way for you to get your team behind you. I'd be the first to say that I am not a good listener, but I try to be a better listener every single day, especially the days where I'm reminded that I'm not a good listener. It's funny what you learn from your own people when you listen to them, right? When you ask questions and you don't immediately answer with your opinion, that you just ask another question and go deeper. It's a unique skill set that if you want to be a successful leader, so some of you that are probably watching this that might not be in a leadership position, but you want to be in one, listen up. This is for you. You can learn so much from being an active listener, being a good listener. That's going to help you take your career in the next to the next level. So I think where we could start with being a good listener is evaluating your current active listening skills. Ask your coworkers, ask your boss, and if there's people that report to you, ask them. Are you a good listener? Do you assess your typical behavior? Like when someone's talking to you, bringing up an issue or a problem that you think they want you need to resolve, do you interrupt? Do you show impatience? Do you suggest solutions right after the first sentence, right? Do you cut people off? Do you spend more time talking than you do listening? Do you feel like you don't have enough time for this conversation? Do you feel like it's not worth your effort to listen to the conversation? I see so many managers, and it's nobody's fault. It's just we're not trained to be good listeners, right? There's no training for managers on how to be a good listener, but I see it so many times where one of their team members comes up, is talking to them about an issue, and literally they just have no time to deal with that small little problem, right? They're just like, whatever, just do this, do that, and get out of my way. And they don't take the time to listen to the full problem, to ask probing questions, to ask, well, what do you think you should do? What do you think, what would you do if you had the decision-making power? What would you do? We don't take enough time to develop our people by being a good listener, by really engaging with them. And it's really unfortunate because you lose that opportunity to build those relationships with your people. And I've lost a lot of good relationships because I was a poor listener. And every day I try to repair those relationships. Every day I try to be a better listener because it matters. So if you have that, like as a leader, if you feel rushed and pressed for time, every time one of your team members brings something to your attention, pause for a minute. Stop thinking about everything that's going on. Stop thinking about how you're going to fix the problem and just listen. Ask probing questions. So I want to give you another indication if you're maybe not the best listener right now. These are just some things, some aha moments. I'm curious, do you find out about issues on your line, in your department, in your store from a third party, from somebody that's not in that department or someone that just started in that department? I had a conversation with the line supervisor today, and he acknowledged that there was problems on his line. And there was an associate that was just bringing up every single problem that's out there on his line. And some associates, some people just do that, right? They may bring up real concerns about real problems and some big ones, right? But then they talk about every other problem that's going on in the world, and it doesn't draw any extra attention to the ones that really matter, and it just makes them look like they're just causing problems, and it never works out. But if you're a supervisor in that situation, you are hearing things through a third party. You're hearing things from a brand new person that's never been in your department for more than a week. And sometimes that's a really good thing. Maybe that person's not the best fit, but you're able to uncover some of those problems that are in your department. And so take the time to listen and evaluate and decide if that's really a problem that you want to address or not. But it's always an indication if you're hearing problems from a third party or someone that just came in, that those are probably validated. They may not be to the fullest context that that person is bringing to your attention, but they're probably validated in one way or another. So think about that and assess your attitude towards your team when they're bringing problems to your attention, when they're complaining, when they're just coming to you with this thing and that thing, and this person said this and that person said that. Assess your attitude towards that and pull yourself back and just listen. It doesn't make you a bad boss to just listen. It makes you a good boss to listen. So let's list out some good listening skills. The first one I would share with you that I'd recommend is focus on the moment. When you have someone in front of you, make them feel like they're the most important person in the room. And it's hard to do that. You've got your phone, you've got your emails, you've got, this person over here talking about something and another person coming up to talk to you. And you spread your attention so many different directions. And the person that is bringing that issue to you, all of a sudden feels like their problem is not important, and they're not going to come to you with future problems because you did not focus on the moment with them. So first advice, focus on the moment. Make sure your priority is present. Make sure you're speaking in the present moment with that person, and that's going to go a really long way. The second piece of advice, which I struggle so much on a personal level and on a professional level, is refrain from solving the problem. Stop offering to solve the problem. When someone comes up to you, unless they're asking for ideas and suggestions, if they're coming to you with a problem, do not try to solve it. First, have that active dialogue. First, talk through it. Ask probing questions. Ask for their feedback. What do they think they should do in this situation? And sometimes don't give a solution at all. Just listen. A lot of times, someone just wants to vent. I know it's hard for a lot of people like me. It's hard for me to just let somebody vent and not do anything about it. Like, I'm a problem solver. You just told me 10 problems. I'm going to solve every one of them, and I'm going to tell you how to do it in order and which steps. And a lot of people don't want that. They just want to vent their frustrations. If they're frustrated about a coworker, if they're frustrated about the overtime they're working, if they're frustrated about being shorthanded, you don't necessarily have to address those problems unless they specifically ask you to address it. And sometimes it's more of just forward planning and addressing them down the road. Like, so it's a problem now. There's nothing we can do about it right now in the present moment. But as a leader, you can start putting processes and pieces and people in place to avoid that problem from happening in the future. And that can go a lot further than just just complaining and going, yeah, you're right. I need to fix it now. I need to fire this person. I need to go write this person up. Sometimes it's a matter of just listening, not solving the problem, but building out a process so it doesn't become a problem again in the near future. Another thing I would say is you probably know who is a good listener because you have felt it. Like, they were just focused on you. You felt like you're the only person in the room. So identify those people. Look back at people that you've worked with in the past that have been a good listener, that have made you feel like your opinions matter, that you are important. Call that person. Give them a call and say, hey, I want to be a better listener, and you taught me so many valuable principles of active listening. I just want to pick your brain. I want to learn more from you. I want to learn how you're able to be such a good listener, because I clearly am not, right? And you could learn a lot from someone that's a good listener. And people that are a good listener, that are good leaders and teachers and coaches and mentors, they're going to love to share that with you. They're waiting for people like you to reach out and say, hey, teach me, help me, walk me through this. And they will. Another good attribute is, this one's really hard. Stop doing other things when a person is talking, even if you're talking to them on the phone, like you don't see them in person. Stop doing other things when people are talking to you. Stop. Just put the phone away. I've got this smartwatch, and I had an old boss that always gave me just a hard time. Just like, why do you got that watch? Like, you're always looking at it. Every time we're talking, you're looking at it. And I didn't think much of it at the time, but later I realized that, yeah, that's pretty rude to just be, yeah, tell me more. Yeah, I think that's just unacceptable. We need to fix that right away. Oh crap, I've got this email I got to fix. I got to talk to this person. I'm sorry. Can we reschedule this? You've got to stop doing other things when someone is talking to you. Be present, be in the moment, and you're going to be a much better leader for it. It's hard to do because we have so many conflicting priorities happening at once. We have so many crises that are at hand every single day, every single hour of the day. And sometimes it's just hard because we have so many appliances attached to us. I call these appliances, your cell phone, right? There's it's hard not to, because they become an extension of what we do and who we are. But if you're able to do this, if you can concentrate on the person in front of you, even if you're talking to them on the phone, and not be doing other things, you're going to pick up some cues. You're going to pick up body language, tone of voice. You're going to pick up things that you haven't been able to pick up before, which will help you maybe get to the root cause of what's going on and something you can work together. It's also going to have even long-lasting effects for the people that work for you, because they know you're a good listener. You pay attention to them, and that's rare right now. There's not very many good listeners in the workplace. It's just because we're pulled in so many different directions. We have so many conflicting priorities, so many responsibilities, that 99% of us are just bad listeners. We just do all these other things as we're talking to somebody. And so people will recognize, and they'll get behind you. They will follow you when they see that you're a good listener. So a good ratio I've always gone by is listen at the very minimum 50% of the time that you talk, which can be really hard, especially if you're like me. I talk a lot. I'm very social. I have a lot to say. And so if you can just start there, 50% of the time that you talk, you need to listen. From there, I would take it an extra step. Start there. And when someone brings something up to you, they say, hey, I'm really upset, Stephen, because I've got this new associate that's been on my line for 2 weeks. She's called out 3 times, and I've had it. I've just had it. I'm done. You could say, okay, well, Jim, I'm really sorry, and let's go ahead and just cut our losses. Or, and man, I agree with you. It's so ridiculous. Sally just needs to go. And man, why can't we just get good people? Like, you could just go down that path. Or you could be on your phone and say, yep, Jim, I understand. Just see what you can do to work with her, right? And that doesn't work either. Or option C, you can go, okay, well, what do you know about Sally? Why has she been calling off? What has been the reasons? Well, she says she has all these daycare issues and transportation issues, and I just don't think she's going to work. Okay, so have you asked her about her daycare and transportation issues? Like, is this going to be something that she can fix in the next week or two? Or is this a long-term problem she has no solutions for? Do you think if you were in her shoes, you could find a solution? What would that solution be? What would that look like? Has she called daycares? Has she ever used Uber or Lyft? Like, she could spend $15 a day on an Uber and still make $120 from her wages. Have you talked to her about that? Like, so if you're not actively listening, if you're not asking those questions, like, now you're helping that supervisor, you're helping that individual go a little bit deeper, peel back the layers, take the emotion out of it, right? And get to the root cause. And then we have something to work with. But if you're disengaged, if you're on your phone, you're like, yep, just see what you can do, and maybe you just have to let her go, you might have lost a good employee that just needed one more week to work things out, or just needed someone to walk her through how to use, an app for Uber or Lyft, and, open her up to new ideas of how she can get to work, making it a coaching moment. That if you listen more, ask those probing questions, you're going to go a lot further than anybody else. I think asking the clarifying questions always makes a difference. So just to sum it up, if you want to be successful in the workplace, be a good listener. Speak 50% of the time that you listen at the minimum. Ask a follow-up question from the first question or statement that's been brought to you. Don't offer feedback right away. Just listen, ask questions, help that person walk through their own problems, come up with their own solutions. You have to have that just or what's the right word? You have to have someone that can look inward and figure out, what the problem is and the challenge and then the solution, how to come up with it. If you do things like this, if you pay attention to the person in front of you, make them feel like they're the most important person in the room, you're going to stand out among your peers. The 99% of your peers, supervisors, etc., you will stand out and you will go places. You will make a difference in your career and you'll make a difference in the lives of the people that you work for and work with. So that's my tip of the day, being a good listener. Since I've got your attention, we're 16 minutes in. Whew, that was long. We do have jobs, elwoodstaffing.com. Apply above, click on the link above. We have lots of openings right now, hundreds of openings, and it's getting smaller and smaller. People are coming in, they're getting their jobs, they're getting the job that works best for their schedule, for their income needs, and they're going quick. So apply today. Help us, with some of your unique challenges of getting back into the workplace or making your next career move. Talk to us about it, and we'll help you navigate to a better company, a better paying position, maybe just a shift that works better with your schedule, and maybe the type of work that'll help you grow your career. We want you to grow your career. We want you to get into these supervisor positions. We see it every day, associates being promoted into supervisor roles. There's a lot of growth happening out there. Both with all of the major companies in Northern Utah that we staff for, as well as career growth for individuals that, are finally getting a chance. They're finally they've finally been given that option to grow and to have these responsibilities. So apply, give us a call, 801-621-2770, visit elwoodjobs.com, and let's get you, part of a company that really cares about you and your well-being, and let's get you into a company that has a great culture that fits what you're looking for. Thanks for tuning in. Have a fantastic Tuesday afternoon.